The story of two sons begins without, if you don't read the first two verses, we will not understand what Jesus exactly wants to say. And as I said, the complaint, what spark and ignites these parables is the religious leaders were not angry that sinners came to Jesus, but they are angry that Jesus were welcoming him. The complaint is not theological but relationship. They are offended by the company Jesus keeps. This man receives them. He welcomes the wrong people. He treats dirty as if they belong at the table. Am I going there? Oh. As if he belongs at the table. Notice that. What do they say? They don't accuse him of teaching false doctrine. They did not charge him of breaking Roman law. Their offense is that he is too generous with grace, too welcoming the unclean, too kind to those who deserve not their kindness. Jesus responds to this accusation not with theological argument, but with three parables. Each escalates in emotional intensity. The sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son. You see, the stakes are going higher. 1 in 100, 1 in 10, and 1 out of 2. And it is not actual prodigal son who was lost because he repented. He came to his sons. The son who was actually lost. The first two parables share a common structure. As I already said, the third parable, which makes a difference. Third parable, the one we call the prodigal son, breaks the pattern. Yes, something is lost and found. Yes, there is celebration, but this time someone refuses to celebrate. Someone stands outside the party with folded arms and burning resentment. Someone who has been in Father's house all along cannot bring himself to rejoice when the lost is found. And that someone is the real target of Jesus' teaching. The story begins with father who has two sons. In first century, if you go and dig a little bit of history of Israel, you see they carried enormous weight to family, is the identity. And the land was inheritance. And the honor. These days also, if you see in the Middle Eastern countries, family, the values, the honor of the family. The land was the inheritance. A father's honor was the stability of entire household. The firstborn son, the older brother, was supposed to be the pillar of the family. He was supposed to carry the legacy, was supposed to carry the name of the family. And he, of course, receives double portion of the inheritance. He would carry the family name. He would preserve. He was responsible one. The one who everyone expected to do right thing. The one who stays. The context that happens next, all the more shocking. And the younger of them said to his father, give him the share of the property and divide, which you say in 12 verse and 15 chapter. Father, give me the share of the property that is coming to me. And he divided the property. And we know about this. In modern, if we see this, nowadays we see it's like an entitlement. Entitlement is like right. If a younger son is asking for his right, what he deserves, a young man demanding his inheritance early. But in those times, if someone asks, it's like you're asking him to conduct a funeral service. He's asking his father to give an inheritance that is better. And we know that many times you have heard, it is better that you die rather than, I want your wealth, I want your property, I don't want you, I want your stuff more than I want you. I want your gifts without your presence. I want what you can give me, not who you are. This was not merely rude, it was profound act of relational violence. The younger son was publicly declaring that his father's life has no value, to accept a source of wealth to be extracted. So in the honor culture, this request would have brought devastating humiliation to the entire family. It is not like nowadays where nobody knows what is happening. Those days, and this happened, what I can understand, this happened not on a private place but on a place where everybody knew about it. The whole village knew about it, because when we see when he returned, when he came to his sons, when he returned back, the father ran, because some commentators, if he didn't ran to meet him, then the villagers would have questioned him and not allowed him to come in. So father has to run and accept him. So this whole event, when it happened, this caused a lot of stress to the entire family. And more shocking is that look, like, it is not like the most shocking and devastating thing which is happening. It is delivered. The most shocking thing is the father accepts what son is asking. These days, if we ask that, fathers will curse him to become violent. He also will say, "You are not my son." But here, Jesus is portraying the heart of the father. So he is going to to those who are questioning him, like, what is lost? Who goes after the lost? And one that is found, there is celebration. And you guys are questioning me about what I am doing and how I am receiving these people who are, according to you, are people who are scum of the society. And you know you know the heart of a father. You don't know it, and he is describing the heart of the father. He accepts the divide is probably between them. Not so he accepts the division. He accepts the request when his younger son asks for the inheritance. He doesn't say no to it, and sometimes some decisions or some asks or something being asked, Jesus was always giving to the people who are listening to him. We see in the parable where one servant goes in first hour, another goes in second hour, and third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and he gives everyone equally. What he does this shows? It shows the heart of his God. He shows the heart of the Father. When grace is given to someone who caused damage, what does it do inside the heart of the one who stayed faithful? Not many days later, Luke tells us the younger son gathered all he has. Verse 13 reads, all he had took a journey into a far country. The phrase far country is not merely geography, it is theology. It represents distance from Father's house. Not only that, it represents distance from covenant. It represents distance from the presence of the Father. He travels from his Father's place as far as possible he can. And the story collapses exactly the way sin always collapses when it is given enough time. He squandered his property in reckless living, spent everything. A severe famine has come. And he started to be in need. So he went to a heights. So he went and hid himself out a citizen of that country who sent him into his fields to feed pig. We read in 13 and 15 verses of chapter 15. For a Jewish listener, when we see he has gone to a pig pen, it's not only humiliating, it is defiling. All the way their upbringing has been, it has warned them to do this thing. So what is happening? Jesus is painting the lowest possible point with deliberate strokes. The boy is not merely hungry. He became the kind of person his entire upbringing warned him about. He has fallen as far as possible. He cannot fall any further down. As he was longing to be fed with the pods, in 16th verse say, he was longing to be fed with the pods that pigs ate, and no one gave him anything. No one gave him anything. The friends who enjoyed his wealth have vanished. The pleasures are evaporated. The freedom, what he thought he demanding from his father, has turned into slavery. He is alone, hungry, degraded, and humiliated. No one cares. This is the end of every road that leads away from the Father. Sin promises. Sin, if you want to write, you can write. Sin promises freedom and delivers bondage. Sin promises fulfillment and delivers emptiness. Sin promises life. Sin promises life but delivers death. The younger son demanded his inheritance so he could live on his own terms. In his own terms has brought him to pig pen, envying the food of unclean animals. And Luke records something quietly miraculous. When he came to his sense, when he came to himself, he said, how many fathers' hired servants have more than bread enough to eat, but I perish here with hunger. I will rise and go to my father's. I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, against and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. He came to himself. That is repentance. It's not just merely regret. Sometimes we regret after sin because it hurts our conscience. It's not that we're working against God. We have fractured this, or we have tend to do something against God. That conscience or that mindset doesn't bother us. But what we bother, the regret what we get. The regret what we feel in our life, and then we ask for forgiveness, and then we receive some kind of soothing or some kind of numbness in our heart, and we say, okay, we are forgiven. This is not that kind of regret. It's not even the fear of punishment or the consequences of sin. Many times what will happen, that young person must also think that what will happen to me if I did not go to my father. That was not the spark or the driving force which is making him to go and back to his father. It was that he has sinned. He came to the realization. He came to his senses. He is not working because of regret or because of some kind of punishment or some kind of consequences he is scared of. He was going back. He decided, or he came to his senses. His soul wakes up and sees clearly. He remembers home. He remembers his father's goodness. He remembers that even the servants in his father's house have more than enough. And then he does the bravest thing a broken person can do. He turns around. He goes back. He decides to face his father. He humiliated. He insulted. He confessed the sin he committed. He accepts whatever consequences awaits him. A real repentant heart doesn't stay there. He turns around and turns to God. That's the reason we say the worldly sorrow causes death. What it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 10. Every time all this week pastor was almost every message was highlighting that verse. So worldly sorrow what brings death, but the sorrow which comes, actual that repentance gives joy. Can you read once? 2 Corinthians chapter. So this younger boy had that repentance and decided to face the father and to confess the sin he committed, to accept whatever consequences awaits him. He rehearses his confession. Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I have no longer worth to be called your son. Make you a hired servant. Notice that when you are really repentant you doesn't bargain. You doesn't say that the circumstances have made to do that. You doesn't accuse someone. He takes complete onus of his failure.